Big gains for Democrats and a lot of head scratching by Republicans after last night's elections across the country, especially in America's suburbs.
In surprisingly large numbers, voters rejected candidates and policies aligned with President Trump. KCO9 political reporter Bryan now has analysis of the results about 24 hours later, and look at what some people are calling that blue wall that's being built here in the West. Dave?
You've got the blue wall, and then other people are calling this the revolt of the suburbs. So you've got choices here. You know, we're only talking about a few states, and in most cases they were states the Democrats won in 2016 anyway. But the margins of victory this time for Democrats were much larger than expected, and those votes came from the suburbs, all of which could be a signal to President Trump and the Republicans there could be trouble ahead.
Our Republican friends better look out.
Heel-clicking victories for gubernatorial candidates in New Jersey and Virginia Tuesday have shaken up the new political status quo just 1 year after President Donald Trump won his jaw-dropping victory to take over the White House. It left Democrats, like New Jersey's governor-elect, relieved.
It was a big night for Democrats.
And Republicans grouchy.
Our problem is our base is pretty unenthusiastic.
But exit polls told the real story. More than 1/3 of those who cast ballots in Virginia said their vote was, at least in part, a vote against President Trump. And with the highest turnout percentage in 20 years for a gubernatorial election there are at least 14 new Democratic seats in that Virginia House of Delegates as well.
It was totally stunning to everybody who follows politics here.
And Claremont McKenna College political science professor Jack Pitney says the unexpectedly large margin of victory came largely from the Washington, D.C. suburbs in Northern Virginia.
There is a strong trend toward the Democratic Party in suburbs across the country. Trump was able to compensate by doing better than expected among the white working class in rural areas. But if he doesn't maintain that edge, Republicans are going to have real problems.
Former California Republican legislative candidate Craig Huey, a strong supporter of President Trump, says the suburbs voted for the Democrat because they did a much better job of turning out their voters than Republicans.
There was a massive turnout of anti-Trump voters, and they won. And those people who were Trump supporters, the people who want to drain the swamp, who want to see economic change, tax change, health, a better health system, those people did not get a message to motivate them and to get out the vote. So unless the Republican Party starts changing its messaging and having a better message of how they're going to turn America around, this is a bad sign for 2018.
Virginia was not alone. In the Seattle-Washington suburbs Tuesday, a Democrat won over a Republican seat in the state Senate in a special election, giving Democrats a majority in both houses of the state legislature to work with the Democratic governor of Washington. The race got so much national attention that former Vice President Joe Biden jumped in and endorsed the Democrat in a state Senate election.
I gotta steal Monka for a second because Vice President Joe Biden wants to talk to her real quickly.
In fact, all three West Coast states, California, Washington, and Oregon, all now have Democratic governors and Democratic control of both houses of the legislature, and they're calling it the blue wall against the Trump administration. There has even been talk that the states might work together on some issues in defiance of the Trump administration, like climate change and environmental issues, gun control, and contraception.
Well, the three states definitely have certain interests in common, but you shouldn't push it too far. You go to Oregon and ask people there what they don't like, and one of the things they'll say is California.
Very true. The next test will come next month on December 12th when Alabama will hold a special election to choose a new senator, the successor to Senator Jeff Sessions, now Attorney General. Some polls show that race is pretty close in a state that has been solid Republican for more than 2 decades. Now, if the Democrats win that seat, there's going to be some real serious soul-searching among Republicans. Jeff, Lena?